Quarterback. It's the most important position on every football team and at every level. Your offensive success and your team's success is based on the play of your quarterback. It's the most valuable position on the team. It's the most scrutinized position in sports. Quarterbacks get more blame than what they deserve. They get more praise than what they deserve. They are the focal point of football. And with that being said, it's pretty amazing that at every level of football, the quarterback position is the least coached. This is QB Unfiltered, constructing the quarterback. Okay, there are three schools of thought when it comes to what it takes to make a quarterback a better QB. And the first one is 7-on-7 travel teams, which I did a show on this a while back and talked about all of the harm that those types of programs do for QBs. So we're not going to delve into that, but 7-on-7 is not the way to go. The second one is these QB camps. And you know, you're talking about sending your son or you as a quarterback signing up and going to one of these quote unquote QB camps. We're going to make you a better quarterback. And you show up there and there's 150 QBs. And what happens is you pay all this money and you get a handful of reps and you leave that camp. Maybe you had a good time. Maybe you met some different guys. Got some fresh air, threw the ball around a little bit, but you didn't get better as a quarterback. Okay. The third is the absolute best way to become a better QB, and that's through a private quarterback trainer. Private quarterback trainers, the absolute very best way for your son or for you, the quarterback, to get better. But you got to do your homework because it's tricky finding the right type of guy to be your mentor or your son's mentor in becoming a better QB. You also have to be willing to travel. So I ran a QB training business for 7 or 8 years in Northern California, and I had a number of quarterbacks that would drive 2, 3, 4 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday to come train with me. And if you find a guy that's good, you have to be willing to put in that travel because it's well worth it. Okay, with advertising, you really have to be careful with what you buy into because, believe it or not, the advertising world is, in a lot of cases, suspect and sketchy. And private QB trainers fall into that category as well. So I said earlier, you've got to do your homework on this. There are a lot of guys out there that are touting themselves as private QB trainers and gurus that really aren't very good. And I know some of these guys personally. I know their work. I know their background. I know their knowledge. And some of these guys just flat out bullshit on their websites and their bios. And it's very easy to do. And unless you as a QB or you as a parent really do your homework on these guys and fact check them, it's easy to fall into the trap where you buy their line of BS and you end up hiring them. A lot of these QB trainers put videos online promoting their business, and the drills that they're doing are just not sound. And they're mechanically wrong in a lot of cases. There's a guy that's all over YouTube right now who has his own training business, and this guy puts a lot of content out. He speaks really fast. He sounds really confident. And he says some things that are correct and are sound, but a lot of what he is preaching and teaching to these QBs is just mechanically wrong. It's wrong. And it's cringeworthy when you watch some of this stuff, but it's out there. And so you really got to be aware of that. You really have to have knowledge of what you're getting into. And like a used car salesman, guys that talk really fast and look really slick, I don't know. You got to look behind the curtain a lot of times on these guys. What you need to ask yourself at the end of the day, if you're a parent or a quarterback, the drills that this trainer is using for his training sessions, are they actually designed to make the quarterback a better QB? Do they work on the basic mechanics that a quarterback needs in order to be successful? Do these drills equate to what the quarterback faces when he's playing in a live situation on game night or game day? And as I said, I did this QB training business up in Northern California. There are example after example of kids that I worked with that just had horrific experiences or were just receiving bad advice from the guys that were coaching them, either in the Pop Warner level, the middle school level, or the high school level. I'm telling you, there's a lot of situations with these young kids and even high school kids where in their mind, if they hear that there's something that makes more sense to them, they're going to try it in practice. And chances are, if it's successful, their coach isn't going to say anything about it. That's just the way it works with some of these Pop Warner and high school coaches. If what this kid's doing when they snap the ball to him on the field is working, okay, I'm going to let him do it. So you don't want to step on toes, and that's a tricky thing for a private trainer, and that's a story for another day. The point I'm trying to make with this is these kids are getting a lot of bad information and a lot of bad coaching. And in almost every case, they're not getting coached at all. So the quarterback position, as I said in my intro, the most important on any football team at the Pop Warner level and even high school. A lot of times the quarterbacks they just have the balls rolled out to them. They pick it up and just play. And they're not coached. And you get what you get based on that kid's natural ability. And there's nothing to make him better and to make your offense better. That's where the private trainer comes in, because he can do the one-on-one stuff where he is repeatedly running the same drills that make the quarterback a better player on game night or game day. Okay, so we said do your homework. Don't trust the written word. Guys lie on their websites. Fact check, because these guys can write anything. Okay, one of the things that I always tell parents that, I still get calls. I'm long retired from this, but I still get calls asking if I'll train kids. And I tell them, I give them a couple of names of guys that I recommend, but I also tell them the same kinds of things that I'm saying in this podcast today. Check to see where they played. Did they play college ball? Did they play quarterback? That's a big one. Did they play quarterback? Now, there are some guys out there that are good quarterback coaches and good QB trainers that never played the position, but that's rare. Okay, most of the good ones, just about all the good ones, played the position. Check to see that they did that. Okay, where did they coach? I'm not talking about being a private QB trainer, and I'm not talking about a 7-on-7 coach. I'm talking about a guy that coaches throughout an entire season, where he is tasked with developing and coaching a quarterback through an entire season. That's really important. And then with that, who has he actually developed? Has he developed quarterbacks? And this is the trap that you can't fall into, and a lot of guys use this. A lot of guys. Then here's the scenario. You've got a guy who goes and works, let's say, for example, the Elite 11 quarterback camp in, Long Beach, California. And you've got 7 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country that are at this camp, according to certain sites. All right, 7 of the top 10. And you got a guy that's invited to go work this camp. But he's not a real guy in the fact that he's one of the main dudes coaching these dudes, coaching these guys. He wears the Elite 11 polo, so he looks official. And now he's going to take on his website advertising his training business, and he's going to list the names of those 7 top quarterbacks in the country that worked that camp that he was a part of. He's going to list those names as guys that he trained and developed. Okay, that happens all the time. Some cases, these guys are just making this stuff up. The bottom line is do your homework, know what the traps are and the pratfalls that these guys try to use to reel in customers. Do your homework. Okay, so this is what you need to look for in a private trainer, according to me. There are basic things that he has to work on. And for me, it starts with feet, and feet. It starts and ends with a quarterback's feet. And with that is balance and weight distribution. And I'm talking about what happens after the quarterback takes the snap and what he does in his drop to throw the ball in rhythm, or what he does with his feet if he has to slide, shuffle, or climb and then throw the ball. We're also talking about now ball carriage, how you carry the football after you get the snap. We're talking about the delivery of the ball, pushing it up and back, coming through with that nice, fast, tight C motion, opening up that chest and hips to your target so that you not only get the torque to get some juice behind the throw, but hips and shoulders facing your target equals accuracy. Pocket management. This is one of the most important things that a trainer can do. If you take, again, a regular football game, and every time that a quarterback drops back to throw, I would say up to 40% of the time, he can't throw it in rhythm and tempo. He's going to be pushed off platform where he has to move his feet in the pocket to avoid pressure, to avoid a sack, to get into a lane so he can see where he's throwing. That's pocket management. Okay, that has to be drilled because quarterbacks face that a lot in the course of a game. And if you've got a guy that just works on throwing in rhythm and tempo, he's only working on half of the experience that a quarterback's going to have in a game. Okay, throwing in rhythm and tempo needs to be worked on. Throwing off platform, we just talked about that, needs to be worked on. Throwing on the run needs to be worked on. You get flushed out of the pocket. A lot of times you can't reset your feet and throw. You've got to continue to get wide, get away from all the bullshit, and be able to throw the ball on the move. RPO throws. Big in football now, where you're putting the ball down, showing it to the running back in run action, and then be able to flip that sucker back up, get your hips right, and get that ball out on time. Basic different throws, short throws, intermediate, deep balls, different types of screen throws, bubbles. You know, the bubble is one of the most difficult throws for a quarterback to make. And basically, working repetitive drills that mimic what he's going to see during the game. And it's the same stuff over and over and over, because what does that do? That establishes muscle memory. Muscle memory. Most important thing a quarterback can do in drill work is take what he does in the drills take it to game day or game night and execute that stuff in the course of live action. Okay, make your money count. Parents, quarterbacks, find a guy that knows what he's doing and that you feel good about. You've done your homework. You're willing to travel if you need to. Believe me, it is well worth it. You're going to thank yourself at the end of the day. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this information out there to other parents or quarterbacks that are trying to elevate their game. This is QB Unfiltered, and remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.